face.
Before we go, we should talk a little bit about last night.
All right.
Because I posted something on the board saying that after last night, you would concur that Brent should be voted loves him in the poll of what do you think of Brent?
Yes, there's no other option at this point. It has to be that you love Brent Kremen. Everyone loves Brent Kremen. There can be no other alternative. I don't have any details about the whole evening we need to get into, but long story short, we met some old friends. Myself, Brian, Brent, and these three sisters we hung out with. And
I'm doing a search on Jenna doing here while you tell the story, so go on.
I guessed. So one of these, actually two of these sisters were back in town after long absences, and one of them had a favorite bar in Linwood, right off Highway 99 in Linwood, which for those of you familiar with the area should tell you the quality of this bar. And we walked in, and it turns out this bar on Thursday nights has, and I quote, Larry-oke karaoke.
I had not noticed the Larry Oak part of the karaoke.
I noticed that immediately. That was the name of the party, I guess you'd say.
All right, go on.
And so Brian and Brent and I sat down. The other girls, as females are wont to do, were late. And
let me talk a little bit about this. We went to dinner, and then we were going to go to this bar. And let's see, there was, how did this work? Basically,
keep in mind they may be listening.
I know, that's why I'm being very careful here. Me and Brent and Vince went to the bar, and they were going to meet us there. And the idea they were just going to run back to their house real quick. I don't even know why they were going back to the house. Was that ever even explained?
At one point, one of the women was not going to go. Can we name her?
Sure, you can name anybody.
I don't think Tina was going to go. So they're going to take her home.
No, but she decided to go at dinner.
Right. So then they still went home. I don't know why.
Yeah, I have no idea why they went home. So they went home, and we went to the bar, and we got to the bar at about what time?
10:30?
No, hell no.
No, you're right.
10:10 maybe.
Probably about 10:10.
Maybe even earlier. So we got there at about 10:10, and the bar was called, what the hell was it called? Tito's? Mondo's. Sorry, I mixed up my Mexicans. Mondo's, and there were indeed some Mexicans there. It's a very surly type of bar, and I don't think all of us necessarily fit in. I did, of course, being Mexican and all. Vince, way too white and normal looking, and Brent, a Jew in a Mexican bar is just a weird thing.
I would not describe the bar as Mexican.
Well, it was Mondo's.
It may have been owned by Mexican, but the crowd was a very eclectic mix of white punk rockers.
There were the punk rockers there, yes.
And I saw one young black male who appeared to be doing his best Tupac impression 24/7.
I saw him as well.
Yes.
But yes, there were some Mexicans and Indians there. I was keeping my eye on them.
Okay.
Because I thought if anyone was going to shoot me, it was going to be one of those guys. I didn't think the white punks were going to do it. The Tupac guy would likely have gotten shot. I know that's probably a tasteless joke, but he didn't look like he was packing anything. He looked like he was going to be the victim.
He looked way too scared.
Very skinny and very scared. And, yeah, so I was a little bit worried about that. But we showed up at about 10:10, and the three of us sat down at a table. And by about 10:25, I'm like, okay, this is a rib. And they began communicating with you over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
You began getting text messages, I believe.
No, she called me.
Oh.
Yeah, which just stunned us because we didn't have her number. We were surprised she had ours. So,
So you said, Monica says he'll be here in 10 minutes or some ridiculous amount of time.
Like 15 minutes.
Yeah, so finally at about 10:35, I said, all right, listen, if they're not here by 10:45, we're going home. This is beyond retarded. I don't... And what time did they show up? 10:45.
Yes.
On the button. And I was ready to go at that point.
I know you were.
So anyway, go on.
So the girls finally showed up and the party began in earnest. Because it was not three dorks hanging out at a table by themselves looking extraordinarily gay. And so we all got to drinking, and the girls pulled out the karaoke binder. They were very excited, and I made my long-awaited return to the karaoke stage. The girls went up and did whatever songs all the usual songs you see girls doing. You know, I Will Survive. What the hell else do they do? Some of their oldie they did. Oh, Black Velvet, Atlanta Miles. Meanwhile, Brian was off playing pool.
Well, I got to say this. First off, before they arrived, we heard the best karaoke ever.
Yes, because
one of the white punks sang "Take on Me."
Yes, by a-ha, a great song from the 80s.
He did the most phenomenal job.
Yes, for those of you who, we have some young people listening to the show who sadly may not be aware of a-ha and Take on Me. There are some extraordinarily high notes in the song.
And this guy was no John Cena. This man was legit.
Yeah.
He was a punk.
Yes.
And he got up there and he sang the song, and I was just in awe.
And he went falsetto, and he got up there, and yeah.
So anyway,
and I turned to Brian and said, I'm not going after him.
No. But then the girls showed up, and they decided that they were going to make everybody sing.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a few things I don't do. One of them is sing. The other is dance. And they would not stop harassing me all night long.
No.
And I was not singing.
Yes.
So, in a way, that sort of put a slight damper on the whole evening, not to mention the fact that earlier in the day, I had twisted my ankle walking. That's always it's kind of an ego booster right there.
That's true.
When you're walking and your ankle just rolls.
It's a sign you're getting old.
It really is. But actually,
I
did, to be honest, jump off something and twist my ankle upon landing. I thought it had broken, but it is not.
What were you jumping off?
A mat.
You should have said a ladder.
I was jumping off a bridge,
yes.
And I rolled my ankle upon landing. So I had a hurt ankle. I hadn't drank virtually anything. I had a couple of sips of Monica's drink, but I didn't really want to drink. And there are people harassing me to sing, so I really wasn't in the greatest of moods. So I played a little bit of pool, and then right when I thought the night it was kind of, I'd go home and sort of go like, well, that was fun, but what the hell. It suddenly became awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
There are three songs in a row, the last of which is the culmination of the story, really. Myself and Monica did a duet of Queen's Fat Bottom Girls, which is an outstanding song. Their other friend, they had brought another friend with them, Mike something. And he did something, and God bless him. That's all I'll say.
Did he?
Yeah. The fact that you don't remember it says a lot.
Oh, I was playing pool.
You were playing pool. You missed nothing. Then Brent Kremen went up on the karaoke stage by himself.
I should know that I knew Brent was going to sing.
Yeah.
Brent had drank about 5 drinks over the course of the evening. And
starting at dinner.
And Brent in real life is drunk. He's just naturally drunk.
But walking around.
Put a little liquor in him, and you've just got a hammered man. And he looked through the karaoke book and determined he was going to sing Light My Fire.
By the Doors.
By the Doors.
Yes.
If there's a man that reminds me of Jim Morrison, it is Brent Kremen.
No, it's not. Unless you mean the Jim Morrison of today, which is dead.
Go on.
Yes.
Thanks for ruining the joke. That was sarcasm.
I'm sorry.
At its highest, but go on.
I apologize. So yes,
Brent Kremen does not, in fact, remind me of Jim Morrison, Vince.
Oh, I understand now.
Okay, good.
You were making it funny.
God, Go on. Okay. How do you survive in the world, dude? Jeez. Go on.
So I'm very Brent-like right now, actually. So Brent's standing up there.
This is becoming Iata.
With his microphone, and the words began to play on the screen, but Brent's not singing. and I look over, and he's standing there standing straight up and down with one hand holding the microphone up and the other hand straight down at his side. And he's staring at the screen, and I can see his lips are moving, but there's no sound coming out. And I can't figure out what's going on. And then one of the girls runs up to him and pushes the bottom of the microphone up to his mouth so you can hear him. Because he was holding the microphone down here and singing over it.
Yes.
And you cannot hear it at all. So then we can hear him sing. And Brent's, first of all, there are two notable impressions. Brent's singing voice is just slightly less squeaky than his speaking voice. But Brent reciting song lyrics is the same as Brent singing. That's number one. Number two, this man displayed a magical, remarkable ability to not get the rhythm of the song.
Yeah.
I never thought the song Light My Fire would be hard to sing, at least rhythmically. The time to hesitate is through.
Okay, we don't need to hear it.
Okay. Brent couldn't handle that. You would hear Brent start to sing, and then the backing vocals would come in 4 seconds later, carrying the song through. It was a magical moment. I laughed until I wept. He was unreal. And then when he was done, he got through the entire song without hitting one word at the point in the music we're supposed to go. He calmly handed the microphone over to the man and returned to our table as if nothing had happened.
Yes, sat down and just went on with his life.
He sat down and stared ahead in silence.
I would like to note that I did give Brent a standing ovation when it was over.
Oh, yes.
And I shook his hand, and I told him he was more of a man than I would ever be, because that is true. You'll never see me getting up in front of human beings and singing, and he did it. And he didn't give a shit. He did not care one bit, and
he wanted to sing Light My Fire, and in a way he did.
He accompanied the tune in some strange way. And it was a beautiful moment. And at that point, I was like, this night was a victory.
That's right.
This night was truly a victory. And I should also note that I played 2 games of pool. I should mention this. The first was against Tina, who some of you might know as Galatea. And I whipped her ass.
Oh.
And during this game, about midway through, her other sister came over and she began whispering to her and looking at me. And I thought, this cannot be good. And after I had beaten her, the sister came up and said, don't suppose you'd want to play another game? And I was like, sure. And her first move was to take a pool stick, put it on the table, and roll it to make sure it was properly balanced and such. And at that point I thought, well, I'm fucked. And indeed, I was raped in this game of pool.
The best thing about this game was she took you to the edge of death and then kept you there for about 20 minutes.
I actually said, can you just beat me and stop playing with me like a mouse?
Yes.
There were about...
I walked over.
I was striped.
You were stripes, and there were 4 stripe balls on the table and the 8 ball, and that was it.
No, actually, you came over at a good time then. Because earlier there were 9, or however many balls there are total in the stripes, 8, 7, all the stripes were on the table. And there were 2 solids and an 8 ball left.
There you go.
So I just got mutilated in this game of pool. So
there was one other highlight of this game. You've already forgotten it, but I have not, because it was...
When I tripped her and she fell on her ass?
No, I missed that part.
Oh, my... Well...
Okay.
I'll tell that story very quickly. I didn't really trip her. I walked back from watching Brent, and she was backing up, and she just sort of tripped over my foot and fell down. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, my God. And as I was helping her back up, I turned around, and Tina and Monica are coming at me with their lats flared. You think I'm joking? And they were ready to kick my ass. And I had the stick there, and that's the only thing that saved my life. I was like, I did not trip her. I am not beating up your sister. She tripped over me. It was an accident. I am helping her up like a gentleman. Please, don't kick my ass. And Monica would have. You know this.
Oh, Monica kills you.
Oh, yes. This is... Yeah, so...
But still, the image of Tina and Monica flaring their lats is...
They were.
Wow.
Yeah, you can confirm this with them.
I'm sure they won't deny it.
For those of you, I think some of you might have actually seen, the pictures ended up on our board that were taken at the WrestleMania, whatever it was, at the Safeco Field.
19.
Yeah, and there was a Tina there, and then Monica was the one with all the tattoos. And when I mean all the tattoos, I mean
every tattoo on Earth belongs to her.
She is like a Samoan. She's just tattooed top to bottom, just completely.
She's had some work done. Yes.
Yeah, and so this was coming at me, and I was like, okay. Hold on a minute here. I'm retired.
Yes.
So what was the other part?
The other part was at one point, while she was kicking your ass, Jamie at one point bent over to take a pool shot. Can I remember this? Yes. So she bent over, leaned over, very close, horizontal to the table, and was lining up a shot. Meanwhile...
Now, hold on. Okay, you can tell it.
All right.
I have to add something after you're done.
Exactly on the opposite end of the table, Brent Kremen is standing. And Brent looks down at Jamie and realizes, hey, I've got a view. And he proceeded to, and you'll think I'm making this up, he squatted on the floor with his head directly above the pocket Jamie was aiming for, and the biggest shitting grin you've ever seen on a human being on his face, and he just sat there and stared and smiled broadly. And Jamie was oblivious to all this, which is kind of sad.
Well, no, because this is the part I got to tell. I remember this, but what I saw was she was setting up the shot, and I thought that Brent was bending over the table trying to see if there was a possibility of the shot going in. You know how some people do that?
Sure.
They'll see someone setting up a shot, and they'll get right down there, and they'll go like, is it lined up properly? And then part of the back of my brain was thinking, Brent doesn't know shit about pool. What's he doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then later when I heard the story, I was like, oh.
Well, I was looking over Jamie's shoulder, and there was no question about what Brent Kremer was doing.
Pervert.
He was unabashed.
Wow. So, yeah.
So, yeah, it was a night of Brent doing what he wanted to do and not giving a fuck about anyone else.
Brent was a hero last night. He really was. And by the time the night was over, I'd had a fun time. I'd forgiven my so-called friends for trying to pressure me into something I did not want to do. Peer pressure. Hopefully they're listening to hear that little message right there. But overall, it was a very fun time. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And I ate a lot of food, got stuffed. We had a wacky waiter. Steve. And
What a Bucket of Beppos.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a chain or not.
I hate the place. I mean, the food's good, but it's one of those Italian restaurants where...
You have a problem with Italians?
Yeah, I do, actually. I'm racist.
Carry on.
Or, would it be racist? Nationalist?
It'd be racist.
Okay, but I'm not, actually. The problem, I love Italian restaurants, you know? The all-you-can-eat Olive Garden bowl and shit like that. This place, Buca di Beppo's, they make great food. Sure. But it's one of those places where you order something for the whole group.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you want fettuccine. Well, everyone has to agree on fettuccine because you're ordering one thing for the entire group. So we had 6 or 7 people having to figure out what everybody was going to eat.
Yeah. Which
was a bitch. And then we had, like, the other dude showing up, Tom or Bill or whatever his name was. He showed up, and so we ordered more food because we figured he was going to eat. So, of course, he didn't eat. So, just all this food, and then when we tried to figure out how to pay, that was an even bigger disaster.
Yeah.
Monica only had 100. Brent and I only had cards. You had no money, as usual.
How dare you? I paid.
I know. And so that was just a bitch. And then, we had the wacky waiter, Steve, who was just wacky. I don't even know what else to say about him.
I'm thankful he didn't kill any of us.
Yeah, he reminded me of Finley, really, sort of.
Okay.
I just saw him tonight, but, so yeah, it was a fun night overall, and Brent was just 5-star man.
Yes, that is the best way to put it. It was a 5-star Brent Kremen evening.
Yeah, it was. So, those of you, I just got to say, I'll say it again, if you'd have been there in the poll, love him, hate him, abhor him, or whatever the sections were, you'd have just wrote, love him.
And then you'd have cheated and voted again.
Yeah, you would have, so. Shoutouts for today.
Sit on my face.
Oh, Jesus, Brent. Something up with this show and this whole website, but this is from the Missing Web Link. He is re-upping his subscription, but not because Vince had F the WWE, but because of Granny during the Christmas show.
Everyone loves Granny.
God bless that wonderful woman, he says. But while you're at it, do you mind beating Vinny to death with the microphone he speaks into so I can come over and Katie Vick him?
Jesus Christ.
Then we can
stop this shout out right now.
Then we can strip him naked and send his oversized clothes to Artie Reynolds for the future WrestleCrap Museum. That's not a bad idea, Vince.
Oh my God, who said that?
Vince is indeed a dick. You've all figured it out, I know.
Wait, who was that person?
That's the Missing Web Link.
Fuck you, Missing Web Link.
Vince, please don't say that on this show.
He wanted to fuck my corpse. I think I'm entitled to be angry.
Nonsense.
That's the way I like it.
He was begging for Craig to pull his pants down and show his ass. We fucked Vince, basically. Vince was just blowing Sean. Sean, your overall thoughts?
I liked it.
Who's your daddy? It just amazes me that somebody went to the trouble to put that damn thing together.
Well, that's true.
And really, the MP3 title is Gayness on August 20th. That is all from one show.
What a gay show that must have been.
So, yeah, anyway, that was great. On our board, a bunch of people, I guess, put your name into Google, and they found some things you did not want to be found, including an old website that you did called the Temple of Vin, which you can all find just by typing it into Google right now. Sorry, Vince. But
Thank you, Brian.
They also found some sports writing that you did.
I have done a little sports writing. In hindsight, none of it's any good, but it's out there. I'm far more embarrassed about the website I made in college, and now I lost the password and I cannot erase it.
Yes, it is there forever.
Yes, there's nothing I can do about it.
Well, here we are, kids, for the TNA pay-per-view report for January 15th. We've got young Vincent here, and, of course, we have got Brent Kremen here.
Say hi, Brent.
Hello.
Now, we've got 3 men here and only 2 microphones.
Yeah.
So this could be a little awkward.
Yeah.
I hope you can handle that sort of unprofessional behavior on the show, but just as a fair warning, there could be some awkward moments of silence.
There's always an awkward moment with you, Vince. I just figured that we'll have you say your piece, then I'll speak, and as I'm speaking, you can flip the microphone back and forth to you two dingbats, and that way it should go very smoothly. So I'll speak in the middle of you two, so that'll give you plenty of time to switch. You got that?
Understood.
Brent?
Yes.
Okay.
We're off to a great start.
That's all we need to hear there. But yes, there was a TNA pay-per-view this evening, and since we're going to start with Vince, we shall start with him. Your initial thoughts on the show?
A good show. Not the home run like I thought Turning Point was, but definitely a thumbs up. And I thought the main event match and angle was as good as it could have been.
I thought it was a thumbs in the middle show. I thought there really wasn't anything blow away on the show. The Joe match with Chris Daniels was by far the best match on the program, but even that, I think people would expect a lot more out of those two. So, you know.
No, I agree. It's one of those things where the match is about 3 stars and you think that should have been better.
This was not one of those shows where when it was over I thought I need to encourage people to buy the replay. Yeah. I'm encouraging nobody to buy the replay.
Wow.
I'm not saying you shouldn't. I mean, if you love TNA and you were gone and you got back home and forgot about it, then sure, buy it. But if you're asking me if I think you should spend $29.95 on this, the answer is no.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Brent, I noticed that Vince tried to give you the mic and you pushed it away.
Well, all I have to say on that match is that Chris Daniels' head was treated like a football.
Thank you, Brent.
It was indeed treated like a football.
Yes, it was, and it is Football Sunday, so that's right in the all right.
wheelhouse.
Sure. Well, we'll get into that in a moment, Brent, but let's get into the matches one by one and talk about everything. It was I missed the pre-show, actually. I saw part of it, but not all of it, so we can't really talk about that. But opener was Abyss in... Actually,
no,
I'm sorry.
What are you talking about?
I was actually reading my Impact report here.
Oh,
the
good.
Abyss... What are you doing over there?
Airplane.
Should we talk about Brent now?
Brent, what do you want to say about him?
I need to point out that when we showed up, I had to pick up Brent in Seattle and drive him up here to Woodinville to Club Chico so we could watch the show. And Brent walked in and immediately began demanding something to read. Because he had no intention of watching the show. He just wanted to come here and read your stuff.
The first thing I said when you walked in, Brent, was, it's like babysitting. First on the way here, give him the mic, because he's going to want to defend himself here. First on the way here, Vince is like, we're going to stop at Albertsons, we need to get some water. And you did this last time, too, and I wasn't sure what the deal is with water, because I do, in fact, have running water here at Club Chico. And you explained something about how this is like for your house or something of that nature. What's up with the water?
Well, I have no filter on my faucet. So I removed it because I have to hook up the dishwasher.
Please don't knock my desk over here.
I have to hook up the dishwasher to the sink.
Okay.
And so, therefore, my water's unfiltered.
I know, but is the water coming out of the dishwasher through the faucet, or
no?
I don't have a filter on my water.
So when I unhook the dishwasher, the water is still unfiltered because I've removed it. So I buy 2.5 gallon jugs of water.
Okay.
From my refrigerator.
All right.
And I have no car, and so I don't like to lug those all the way home from the grocery store. I don't like to lug them on the bus. If I'm getting a ride from somebody,
you don't want to jug too.
I might as well go pick it up. And
sure.
So Vince picks me up, and I remember last time we went by the grocery store, and so I know there's an Albertsons on the way, and so I might as well stop and get some water.
Okay, but the real question is, are you afraid of the water, or are you just a filtered water sort of guy? Because I got no filter here, and I'm fine with the water.
Oh, the faucet, all faucets come with a filter on them. It's pretty standard.
Oh.
And so you have to specifically remove it in order to not have it there.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get off the water here for a second because there's more. So then you showed up, and like Vince said here, you were demanding reading material. And we pointed out that you were paying $10 for your portion of this pay-per-view so that perhaps you should watch it, and you seem to have a little interest in doing so.
I don't come here for the pay-per-views. I come here for the company, and I like reading newsletters that I don't get at home.
The camaraderie.
Yes. I've mentioned before that I want to support the TNA and the wrestlers and the Carters and the Jarretts and any alternative out there for Vince, I'll support.
Okay.
And I hope that they put on a good show, and I want to see them do well, but
you don't really care to watch it.
I'm not all that interested in the show sometimes. No.
Okay, well that's perfectly understandable. Vince had something to say here. I see.
I just question why you would want to support. You want to support the product, but you don't want to actually watch it.
Well, this is more hatred for Vince McMahon, I think. He just wants to see someone else succeed, even if
in that case, Brent, you can just give us $10.
But
I won't have to drive to Seattle and get you.
You're missing the camaraderie part.
Oh, right.
You mentioned that as well. Okay, well, that all makes sense, Brent, so you're off the hook. But hopefully you saw enough to at least make some comment on each match. The real opener was Alex Shelley, Roderick Strong, and Austin Aries versus Chris Sabin, Sanjay Dutt, and Michael Shane. It was actually a better than average. It was actually a pretty damn good.
It was really good.
It was a pretty damn good X Division opener. I don't think it was anything blow away or anything like that. Maybe 3.5 stars, maybe 3.25, somewhere in that range.
Somewhere in that range. It wasn't long enough, really, is the only problem. And I know we've been complaining about matches going too long, but this was not long enough to go any higher than the 3.5-ish area.
Sure.
The story of this one, for me, at least from the beginning, was that Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin both kicked off the night of horrible new haircuts.
Actually, I got to stop here for a second. Chris Sabin's got a totally new look.
Yeah.
He looks absolutely different.
I had no idea who he was for a long time.
I would not, and really this is from watching the rest of the show, I would not classify him as somebody who made a bad makeover move.
Really?
He may have been the only one on the show that had a decent makeover.
Chris Sabin.
He looked totally different, but he didn't look absurd. I mean, this was the same match where Alex Shelley looked like he started bleaching his hair and chickened out.
He parted his hair down the middle and then bleached one half of it.
Not even one whole half, though. It was like 1/4 of one half was bleached. And then we had, like, Samoa Joe, who just put 2 random splotches of red in his hair, and Billy Gunn. Jesus Christ, I've seen Billy Gunn. You're going to run down Chris Sabin?
Well, that's true.
So, yeah, I think that of everybody, Sabin just looked dramatically different. That might have been what threw you off.
That may have been it.
But I don't think it was anything, it was just a different look for him.
That being said, however wacky I thought his haircut was, once he started to go, God damn, that guy's awesome.
He is very, very
great. Oh, man.
So, it was a good match, and Shelley ended up rolling up Bentley for the pin, so at least Chris Sabin didn't do a job. He's supposedly in line for a big push, which I've been hearing for months now, and the push consists of him losing matches right and left, and I'm not sure exactly what the point of it is, but at least this evening only his team lost. He didn't actually do the job. And Brent, you reached for the mic, so you have something to say.
Well, Billy Gunn was dressed and that haircut looked like he belonged in parts of San Francisco.
Yes.
And the rest of those, a lot of those wrestlers looked like they belonged at a punk rock concert.
There were a lot of punks on this show, actually. That is a good point there.
For those of you not familiar with Brent Kremen, that was an insult.
No, what was your line you said this evening?
He had a few. We'll get to them.
We'll get to them. I remember now. It was a good one. But, they came out, and all I've got to say, the thing that I didn't mind about Sabin's look was at least with his new look, he didn't just look like a generic indie guy.
That is true.
He did look like a generic punk rocker, perhaps, as Brent said, but there were far worse punks on this show to come. So, that was the opener. Then we had B.G. James and Mr. E. Gunn versus Elix Skipper and David Young, which was basically a TV match that was longer than a TV match. It's just basically to get the James family?
James gang.
The James gang over. And I should note that I just watched Tombstone yesterday, and on Impact, Bill E. Gunn, it was Billy Gunn. It was on this show. He stole a line.
Did he?
He said he was coming to get him, and hell was coming with him. And all I got to say was he did a shitty job with that line, because they did a hell of a lot better on Tombstone.
Are you suggesting Billy Gunn is not as good an actor as Kurt Russell?
Bill E. Gunn was not Kurt Russell in any way tonight. I've got to say that. And he did indeed come out with a top-notch... Brent's totally getting into this show for some reason. He came out with a top knot, looking like Carmen Miranda, and a pair of black... go ahead.
Oh, I was just thinking about Kurt Russell and used cars. I highly recommend it for any of you out there.
Give me that. Thank you.
Used cars?
Yes, he had a...
I understand it's a film. Focus, Brent.
He had quite the hairdo going on and his black spandex trunks, and he looked wacky. That's all I've got to say. So they quickly beat Elix Skipper and David Young, and Full Nelson slammed Elix, and that was the end of that. That's telling you something, too, when Elix Skipper was a designated jobber on a team with David Young.
Yeah, that does say a lot. The real news of this match is actually before it, because this was where Brent's line came in. They were doing their new version of the New Age Outlaw speech, which is similar. It's got the tag team champions, but I believe BG said something along the lines of K to the I to the pizzle, and I'm BG to the jizzle.
Yes.
And Brent, how did you respond to that?
What did he say?
I think your exact words were, "I don't know what that means."
It was Attack of the Jews, actually, right there.
It was a perfect 10.
It was a perfect 10 on the Brent scale, I will say that. But, so anyway, the actual other best line, it's somewhat related, was also by Billy Gunn, when he came out and said he had 3 words for the fans. Get it? Got it? Good. And it was so obvious how stupid he was that even Mike Tenay had to acknowledge it. And everyone in the crowd just sat in silence.
They all looked at each other like, wait a minute.
That's 5 words.
I could swear that was 5.
They were all thinking it at the same time, and it was so phenomenally bad. But this was your average match, absolutely nothing to it. So then we had
very underwhelming.
Then we had AJ Styles and Hiroshi Tanahashi, and I'm getting out of line here. So Vince, you're supposed to be starting, so go for it.
I was totally into this. This is the first time I'd ever seen Tanahashi, and all I ever read about this match in the previews from Meltzer and various other people who were familiar with him was that it was going to be it may be a Styles Clash.
Maybe.
They did say May. So maybe I had lower expectations, but there was no kind of Styles Clash. There was one blown spot, but really they fit together fine. They meshed fine. Tanahashi was playing subtle heel, so that meant he got to show off all his offense, which was great. And I was totally into it, and this was on its way to being the blow-away match that we were talking about, was not on the show. And then Shannon Moore came out, and I collapsed. I gave up at that point.
Well, I saw it slightly differently. I didn't think it was as good as you did. I thought it was pretty good, but as mentioned, Shannon Moore ruined this match. Shannon Moore came in, and the whole deal was they wanted to set up Shannon Moore and AJ Styles. So what they did, and since Tanahashi couldn't win because he's not coming back, their idea was, all right, we'll have Shannon Moore run in, try to hit AJ. He'll accidentally hit Tanahashi, and AJ will pin him with the Styles Clash. So, I mean, for what they wanted to accomplish, it was a good finish.
It did protect Tanahashi, too.
What in the hell are you doing?
Brent has crawled on the floor about 5 feet to a pile of stuff behind the desk.
Brent!
I can't see what he's doing now.
He's grabbing... Get over there. Jesus. God almighty.
How old are you?
I can't do the show when you're crawling underneath the desk like you're about to bite my foot.
He's trying to be sneaky. He's trying to not have us notice him crawling.
It's awfully hard to ignore you, Brent.
The only thing that would have been better is if he had put on a disguise.
You could have dug a trench. You were, oh, my God. So...
I want want to see if I can get away with that without you having you continue the show, and so nothing was happening.
You did a poor job.
Brent, are you crying? I think you may be weeping.
Well, he did get caught in the act.
He did. He's not looking
of sneaking.
He's not looking me in the eye. He's ashamed.
Holy Jesus, God. Okay, just sit there for a minute, Brent, and don't knock the desk over here.
Can you just lead on the floor?
This may actually be a first. A man will be tied up in Club Chico. I wish we had video, but... So as I was saying before I was interrupted here by...
I sincerely can't tell if he's laughing or crying. I think when we have this witness, I may have a breakdown.
All right, don't move. Just sit down there for a second. So, all right. So, where were we?
I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, I remember what I was saying. The idea was to. I can't even.
Can we? How far are we into the show, Brian?
All right, I'm gonna be professional now.
I think we should stop.
I'm gonna turn you down for a second. I can do this on my own for a minute here. We don't need that other mic there for a second. So anyway, yeah, in terms of what they were trying to accomplish, it was good. But the question is, did they really need to accomplish that on this show? And the answer is no. They could have shot the angle on TV and, just let Tanahashi and AJ have a good match. But they fucked it all up, and I think the people were very upset about it. You could tell that the people watching on were upset about it. And, there's supposed to be an alternative, and instead they gave us WWE.
Poder.
There we go. We're back. Brett, do you have anything to add to that right there?
No.
Okay, great. You actually add a lot to that segment without even knowing it. Then we had the big Raven versus Sean Waltman match. Sean Waltman was the mystery partner, or the mystery opponent. The deal was that if Raven lost, he was out of TNA forever, and if he won, he got a title shot. And as it turned out, he did not win. They had a hardcore match, and it was during this match that I realized that at some point a memo apparently went out, or perhaps a press release, or perhaps something on TV, which ruled that there are no longer rules in TNA. I mean, there are no rules.
Yeah.
You can shoot a man in front of the ref.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to figure out throughout the show, there appear to be slightly different rules. Abyss tried to use a chair, and the ref went to take it away, but Abyss scared him, and thus he was allowed to use the chair. So I figured perhaps that was part of the set of rules in that particular match. But, as the night progressed, I just realized that, in fact, there are no rules. You can do whatever you want in any match. I was actually hoping there would be a DQ in the main event so I could just rip this apart like I've never ripped anything apart before, but unfortunately there was not. So, anyway, to make a long story short, Raven lost. He has left TNA.
Forever, no doubt.
And he's going to be returning. And all I've got to say, kids, this is the teaser for tonight. Perhaps you'll know Tuesday when the next newsletter comes out. But all I've got to say is, dorks rejoice.
Really?
Yeah.
Woohoo! I don't even know what the secret is, and I'm happy now.
Just know that. So your thoughts on the match, Vinny?
Well, I did not see a ton of it. So first of all, I'll talk about what I did see was...
Why didn't you see a ton of the match?
I'll get to that.
Oh.
What I did see was a bunch of the same hardcore spots that I feel like I've seen 800,000 times. The ref got bumped, so Zbyszko stepped in as replacement ref, and I believe... I don't want to steal your thunder here, but I believe he actually was the first heel ref to be a heel ref. Because Waltman went for the cover, and Zbyszko counted 2, and Raven put his foot on the ropes, and Zbyszko counted 3 anyway.
Yeah, but they also had an angle where perhaps he didn't see it.
Oh, there's that too. But
I just got to say one thing about Larry Zbyszko. He ruined this match. He didn't totally ruin it. For as smart as Raven supposedly is, he cannot put a match together. I mean, Raven's idea of a match is let's brawl in the crowd and do a bunch of spots and fall off shit and hit stuff over the head, and then we'll
someone.
Then we'll build to a series of moves,
yes.
near falls, like a near fall with a side rush and leg sweep after you've thrown someone off the balcony when they were in a shopping cart. So anyway, that of course killed the crowd when they started trying to do near falls after all this bullshit.
There's that too.
But then it got worse because at first I was trying to figure out if Larry Zbyszko was actually supposed to be a heel ref or if he was really just the shittiest ref I've ever seen in my whole life. And it may have been the latter because he was doing an awful job for both men.
Well, that is true too.
But yes, he did count the pin when Raven had his foot on the rope, so Raven has some sort of out. But anyway, he left. He left with Jackie Gata, your lover, or I guess you wish you were your lover. She is not, in fact, Vince Fairhigh's lover.
Dang.
But, yep, like I said, there's something brewing with young Raven. So,
well, early in this match, Brent Kremen, sitting on the couch here, turned over his shoulder and looked at you and said, "Brian, can I use your phone?"
Oh.
Now, we're sitting here in the middle of a pay-per-view. We're watching a match that's just started, and Brent wants to use the phone. And Brian says, "Can you use Vince's phone?" So Brent turns to me, "Can I use your phone?" I said, "Brent, who do you want to call? We're watching a show." He said, "I want to call a lady friend."
Like in the Big Lebowski, a lady friend.
A lady friend. I said, "Well, Brent, you have a phone. Why do you want to use my phone?" And I think he said...
Let Brent explain this.
Yeah, Brent, why don't you explain this? Why did you want to use my phone tonight, Brent?
Because it was a number she wouldn't recognize, and she'd probably pick it up.
I could not have put it any better than that myself. It was a number she wouldn't recognize, therefore she would probably pick it up.
Which, earlier tonight I thought, what the hell? But now that I think about it, that's so Brent Kremen, really, that it's actually perfect. You know, we could call her right now on the air, Brent.
No.
Oh. You don't have headphones anyway, so we'd end up talking to her. Oh, it's too late now?
It's too late
11?
now. Well,
all right.
We couldn't call her from a strange number at 11.
I hope that doesn't mean she's got school tomorrow.
Doesn't matter.
All right. So, yeah, so you...
I refuse to lend Brent my phone and be a part of this whole sordid affair.
Which is really saying something.
Think about that.
Think about that, yeah. So, anyway, that's right. I'd totally forgotten about that. And
I had not.
That was a good little moment there. Brent, do you remember anything about the match, actually?
I just hope that Larry Zbyszko does not end up having a match with Raven next month. Because he wasn't very good in his match with Razor Ramon 10 years ago.
That is a valid point.
And him and Raven, I don't want to see that. and he's not much better as a wrestler than he is as a referee.
That's a horrifying thought. Every now and then you see something very lucid, Brent, and it throws me off. You know what I mean? So, then we had Bobby Roode and The Truth, which was another TV match that went a little bit longer. There was interference yet again. I think there was a ref bump and interference perhaps in every match. I may be exaggerating here a little bit, but many of them. I think for sure there may have been interference in every single one, but I'd have to go back and check. But anyway, Conan limped down for this one, got on the apron, which the ref was fine with. You can jump on the apron in the middle of the match, and it's all right. And this distracted Truth, and Bobby Roode hit a rabbit lariat, pinned him, and that was the end of that.
This was a good little Impact main event that we paid $34.95 to see.
Exactly. Brent?
$34.95?
Indeed. So you owe me another $2. You shouldn't have brought that up. Actually, it was $29.95.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
So then we had Jim Mitchell cutting a great promo about Abyss versus Rhino.
As he is wont to do.
Yeah, they had a match, and I will say that for the first 5 minutes I was thinking, good God, this show is not good. And this actually turned into a pretty darn good little match by the end. Nothing blow away or anything like that, but they built to something decent. Excuse me?
The old Buddy Rose diet.
Was in fact the blow-away diet, much like this was not a blow-away match. Thank you. So, a lot of Rhino chants, that sort of thing, and Rhino, being a foolish babyface, as many in TNA are, went for a pile driver off the middle rope, but Abyss was too fat. Abyss then hit the black hole slam onto chairs and got the pin.
More of the same question of why guys are just allowed to use chairs whenever they want to. I think the rule is you can use a chair if you have a cool spot.
I guess, yeah.
That may be the actual plan.
Something like that.
I don't know, another Impact main event on pay-per-view.
Yeah. Brent?
I had no desire to see Sting, and I'm already tired.
Okay, you're not talking...
Wrong match.
Talking about a match.
Hold that thought for 5 minutes from now.
I cut you off, Brent. I cut you off, Brent.
What?
You said the main event.
No,
we didn't.
Vince said it was like an Impact main event.
Oh, okay.
The TV show, yeah.
So not only were you not paying attention to the pay-per-view, but you're not paying attention to this show.
That's all right. Let's move on here. America's Most Wanted in Team 3D for the tag titles. Bubba Ray Dudley had the John Cena look, in fact, and I've got to give credit for Devon Dudley because he is a pro. he went out there and he had a good match and he was into it and everything like that, and he always works hard. He's got himself into shape, and you never hear anything negative about Devon Dudley. And unfortunately, I cannot say the same for Bubba Ray, or Brother Ray.
Brother Ray Deadly.
Brother Ray Deadly. Fans chanted Brokeback Mountain. It was a decent match. I expected better from these guys. I think that there might have been, I don't know what the deal was. Who the hell's calling?
Are you there?
Granny.
We've got Granny on the line. Hold on. Granny?
Yeah?
You're on the radio show right now because you called in the middle of it.
I did?
Yes, you did.
Hi, Granny.
Hi.
That's Vince right there. And we've also got Brent Kremen here. Brent, say hi again.
Hi.
He said hello.
Oh, he's my competition, huh?
I don't...
He's no competition, Granny.
I just wanted to know if he's going to Auburn with us tomorrow.
Highly unlikely. I've actually got to work tomorrow since it's Monday. Monday and Tuesday are out of the question.
Oh.
But,
okay, I'll talk to you later. Sorry to interrupt.
No.
Say hi to everybody. Say hi to everybody since you're here.
Hi, everybody.
Do you have any friendly words of wisdom for the youngsters here listening today?
Not really. I'm just happy to be well again after the big flu I had.
That's right.
The flu.
You were very sick for a while, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
That's terrible.
But it's a good thing. It's those children. They make everybody sick.
Yeah, but they're worth it.
Aww. See, this is why Granny is the sweetest woman on the planet Earth.
That's right. That's the word of wisdom for Granny. Children are worth getting sick of. Oh, Brent's got something to say here.
And you're one of very few grandmothers that would be up at 11:15 at night.
I don't think I heard him. I'm watching poker on TV.
Oh, hey, you know what? While you're on, we can ask you an actual important question here. You have been watching Dancing with the Stars.
Uh-huh.
And let's have a report on how Stacy Keebler's doing.
She's number one.
Wow.
Her and her partner were the first ones ever to get 10 points.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, and they got 10 points twice.
Twice? So the first time in the history of the show, and they've done it twice?
Yeah.
So they're off to a good start.
Yeah, they had 2 10s and a 9, which is the best that's ever been.
Wow. How are the rest of the dingbats on the show doing? Is anybody else any good whatsoever?
Well, that rapper...
Master P?
Yeah, he was wearing big, heavy shoes.
Well, that's a horrible idea.
It's usually not what you want to wear for ballroom dancing.
Or wear his clods or whatever.
So he's a fool is what you're saying.
He's still in there.
Oh, well, that's good.
What about George Hamilton?
Hello?
What about George Hamilton, Grandma? Uh-oh, we may have lost her. Granny? Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Hold on one sec. We're going to do a reconnection because we're actually getting somewhere here. Hold on, kids. Okay, we're going to try and reconnect on the house phone.
Hello?
There we go. Vince was asking about who?
George Hamilton.
George Hamilton.
He's still in it, too. He doesn't do too bad at all.
I saw about 5 seconds of him when I was at the gym and it was on TV, and he was actually doing a solo dance, and I thought, that is the greatest man I've ever seen.
What's her name, O'Neill or whatever her name is?
Tatum O'Neill?
Yeah, they kicked her out first.
Oh, so is that the only person that's been eliminated, her and her partner? Or how does it work? Do they eliminate both people or just one?
They only eliminate one each time.
So you could end up alone.
I think it's a pair of one celebrity and one pro dancer, and so when the celebrity's voted out, their pro dancer is also eliminated.
Oh, okay.
Is that right, Granny?
I'm sure they couldn't dance by themselves.
Well, that would be awfully hard to...
That would be a really silly TV show.
Well, you said you saw a solo dance, so I got confused.
Well, that's true. He did do a solo number, but...
So would you say that Stacy has a pretty good chance of winning the whole thing there, Granny?
I think she does.
Wow.
You know, she's got, her legs are supposed to be 42 inches long.
Oh, yes, we're well aware of this.
She's really pretty.
Yes, she is.
She is, that's true.
So they say she's the only person who is actually moving up in the world by doing this show, as opposed to everybody else who's taking a big step down by doing Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe we'll have to... how long does the show go?
Let's say it starts at...
No, I mean, how many more weeks do you think?
Oh, well, until they have only one couple left.
So we've got several weeks left?
Oh, yeah.
2 months or so?
I'll keep you posted if you don't watch it.
No, we'll call you every Friday or Saturday night when we do the show, and we'll get an update from now on. So you're going to be a regular for a few weeks.
Oh, Oh, that sounds good.
That sounds really good.
So it's a good thing you called tonight. We've got a new segment now on the show.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so, yeah, I'll give you a call after a while. We're going to finish the show here.
Oh, okay.
All righty.
Bye-bye.
All right, Granny.
That was fun right there. Granny saved the day there, Brent. Never thought I'd have a show with you and Granny on the program at the same time.
Let's call Buddy and make it complete.
Be able to have a show without laughing myself to tears.
It will never happen. You would have to. It would have to be. Never mind. I don't want to say anything too sad. But yeah. So let's get on to the show.
I had a thought that Stacy Keibler has the best legs since The Lamp in A Christmas Story.
If anybody got that,
Thank you, Brent, for making a movie joke, which apparently is your gimmick.
I'm always. You know what we haven't heard here in a little while. That was the Brent song right there. That's called To Brent, if anybody wants to make an MP3 of that. I'm glad you were excited, Brent. That makes me feel better. Nobody's ever been that excited about anything that I've created before, so...
For those of you that are wondering, I recommend the movie The Frisco Kid, because there was a song that was much like that one, and at the end of the song there was a drunk that came out of the bar, and he said, "Whoa!"
Wow!
He was dancing in the middle of the street.
Why the hell aren't you doing movie reviews for the newsletter here, Brent?
If you'd like me to, I could do some movie reviews, but unfortunately none of them will be wrestling related.
We may have to actually add a show, perhaps once a month, the Bryan, Vinny, and Brent Movie Hour. We could review films. What do you think? I heard PayPal transactions being canceled.
Comedies are my specialty.
I'm stunned.
I can tell.
You look like a drama guy. So anyway, let's get on here to the rest of the show. I don't even know where the hell we were. Samoa Joe and Chris Daniels for the X title.
We were talking about the tag match.
We already finished it, though, didn't we? Do you have anything more to add?
Just that...
No, we didn't even talk about the finish.
No.
Okay, what basically happened was Gail Kim hit the ring with powder right in front of the ref. The ref was like, what the hell are you doing with that powder? But he didn't tell her to leave or take the powder or anything like that.
He didn't snort any either.
Excuse me?
He didn't snort any either.
He did not snort any of the powder.
That was Brent's non-movie related joke of the night.
That was actually, if you would have thrown a Roddy Piper reference into that joke, it would have been even better, but that was pretty good. So anyway, yes, they did not snort the powder, and Bubba Ray kicked it into the ref's face. The ref was blinded. The Dudleys then got the pin. The ref counted the pin, but of course, as mentioned, he was blind. And so afterwards, Team Canada ran in, beat up the Dudleys, and put, I believe, Chris Harris on top. Doesn't matter. But the referee became unblinded and noticed that AMW was on top, and so he gave them the belts.
Yes.
And they're the winners.
Oh, yes. You see, he could see well enough to know that one man was pinning another man, but could not identify that one of them was AMW and one of them was Bubba Ray Dudley.
Yeah, so... It was a screw job. The fans hated it. I think everybody involved knew it was a disaster.
The whole match, it wasn't a great match. It was decent, but they did the whole belt intro, and I think everyone, well, we were wrong, but everyone knew that 3D was getting the belts tonight, and it was going to be a special deal, and they got the pin, and the place went crazy, and everyone was talking about how wonderful it was, and I mean the place went crazy. People talk about the TNA crowd sometimes trying to get themselves over. This was just them being happy about the result of a match. And Bubba had the belts, and everyone was just ecstatic, and it was special, and it took 60 seconds to just wash it all away.
I cannot understate really what a disaster this was, because it was so bad that it was clear Bubba Ray Dudley was not happy the whole match. The fans were extremely upset. And, of all people, Mike Tenay, about 5 seconds after AMW was given the belts, just suddenly screamed, "Let's go backstage to Shane Douglas and Jeff Jarrett." And they cut backstage, and that was the end of that, and I guess we were supposed to forget it, but it was a disaster, a complete disaster.
I'm not sure what the hell they were thinking with this.
They were thinking we need to extend it one more month for a cage or something. But bad idea. So then we had Samoa Joe, Oh, Brent actually asked for the mic.
Hadn't they already announced a winner, and then they changed the finish?
No, actually what happened was, and they were very... you knew there was trouble because they counted 3, and they rang the bell, but they didn't play the music.
The music never played.
And they didn't announce the winner, which, of course, never happens in any match. So as soon as the music didn't play, you knew something was up. And they dustied out. And
they out-dustied Dusty.
Yeah, sometimes a dusty finish actually works.
This was not
one of those times. The dusty finish would have worked on TV last night to build up to the pay-per-view match today.
That's a fine example.
But it failed, so they did this on... We paid for a dusty finish.
And that sucks.
Bad idea. But then we had Samoa Joe and Chris Daniels for the X title. They played the concussion angle with Daniels, and he sold it like a mother bear. Tenay was talking about how Bret Hart's career was ended because of concussions. Joe ended up laying in these pride soccer kicks and knees to the head. And the ref just didn't stop it. He was like, okay, kill the man, I'm fine with that. Tenay was going nuts in the booth about how it needed to be stopped, and finally AJ Styles threw in a towel, and the match was over. So, I mean, it was good, maybe 3 3/4 stars.
Yeah.
I don't think you could give anything more than that. Finish, I mean, it was effective. I don't know what the point of it was, really. I mean, we already know Joe's a killer.
Yeah.
Are we doing another injury angle with Daniels? He just came back from one. So it was a little bit confusing. I don't know where you go from here, but yeah. So and really the thing is, here's the challenge for TNA now.
I think
they have done a fine job making Joe into a monster. Joe is unbeatable.
Yes.
And now they've got the problem where nobody believes he can be beaten. And I'm not saying that he should be beaten, but I'm saying that something needs to be done so that you can get some heat back into these matches.
That's a good point, because part of the problem is that the people also love Joe.
Yeah.
As he's laying in the knees to the head of this unconscious bloody man, they're chanting, "Joe is going to kill you."
Yes.
So it's working in one sense, and it's not working in another.
It's almost like New Japan, where they've built up Brock that he's to be unbeatable, but now they have nobody for him.
Yeah.
They have nobody for him. How do you sell out a show with Brock challenging someone who nobody thinks has a chance?
Right.
And it's the same thing with Joe. I mean, yes, Joe's unbeatable and everything like that, but as they were building up Joe, they should have been building up somebody else so that you can put that person against Joe
exactly
in the ultimate match.
At some point, you would think someone's going to... Well, eventually, obviously, someone is going to end Joe's streak. Who?
Yeah.
There's no point in having AJ do it. There's not really a point in having Daniels do it.
Well, that's the problem now, is because nobody can beat Joe. And there's nobody that anybody will believe is going to beat Joe. And if you throw somebody in and they do beat Joe, you've totally fucked it up.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to be built up so that when he beats Joe, people are fine with it, or people accept it. If you threw in AJ Styles tomorrow to beat Samoa Joe, it'd be a disaster. Joe has beaten him utterly.
Oh, yeah.
And
Daniels
same thing with
worse.
Daniels. Who else from the X Division is going to challenge Joe? I can think of nobody.
Right now, no one.
And,
The only thing I think is, and this is off the top of my head, so it may not make any sense, but we've been talking about the alleged push of Chris Sabin, which thus far we have seen no evidence of. But he did not get pinned tonight, even though his team lost. Maybe now he challenges the 3 guys who are not Generation Next. Maybe he takes them on one at a time and beats them all, and then maybe he beats AJ, and then he beats Joe. Now, the problem is, I just laid out 4 months of a program, and I have no idea what you do with Samoa Joe over that time.
Well, I think what you can do, this was a different sort of suggestion for a different group of people, but you have Joe face Sabin at the next pay-per-view, and he beats him. But you push Sabin as hard as you can. And then it becomes a quest for Chris Sabin. And perhaps every month, he gets closer and closer and closer. And maybe after month 3, you even do a visual pin, but there's no ref there or something of that nature. So build it up in that sort of fashion, so that finally when he does win, you're like, okay, I believe it now. He got closer and closer and closer and finally did it. But as it stands right now, you have got to start building somebody up, because there's nobody left, and you can't beat him. You just cannot beat Joe right now. Go ahead, Brent.
Christian Cage.
Yeah, but
a fine example of an X Division star who needs a big win.
Well, that's not the worst idea, but they've got plans for Christian. And there were even people, suggesting Sting and Samoa Joe doing a similar sort of deal, but no, I guess that was overruled. So
I'm glad that was overruled.
that's out the window. It wouldn't be the worst idea.
Christian?
No, Sting and Samoa Joe.
Well, I guess not,
because
they've apparently made the decision to make Sting their guy for the year.
Yeah.
But even then, it should be the same kind of deal where the first match, the first month they do a time limit draw or something, and the next match Sting gets a win or something. But anyway, right now they're not doing any of those things, and we don't know what they're doing. Yeah.
So then, where are we? We've got one match left, the main event, Sting and Christian versus Monty and Jarrett. The crowd was acceptable all night. It wasn't anything blow away, and
I just realized they never sang the Abyss song.
No.
That makes me sad.
And I think that they were waiting all night for Sting. And when he came out, they went nuts.
Oh, they did.
And so, I guess to condense this match, because we've got quite a while here tonight, Christian started. Sting finally tagged in. The place went nuts. He looked fine for being a 47-year-old preacher, in decent shape. Did his stuff, didn't look embarrassing or anything like that. Tagged out. They got the heat on Christian. Sting made the hot tag. They did a bunch of overbooked bullshit near falls, as TNA is wont to do. And then finally, Sting pinned Jarrett with a death drop, and the place went nuts. And I mean, it was overbooked, but for what they wanted to accomplish and needed to accomplish here, which was to send the fans home happy that it waited forever for Sting, it was the right thing to do. So, I presume now they've decided to go with Sting and Jarrett, and, there are worse ideas.
Yeah, no, that's a fine idea. And,
so,
ASAP on that, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
They can stretch that feud out over 3 months. Then he can move on to Monty Brown, and then I don't know what to do. Abyss, maybe.
Sure.
The one good thing about bringing Sting in is that every single match that they do is fresh.
They will do Sting and Abyss.
Okay.
Because that was already it was teased earlier in the evening. Jim Mitchell basically started out talking about Sting, and they do want to work together, so that's a definite to happen at some point. But yeah, so I mean, it wasn't bad, it wasn't great, it was just a good, decent main event.
It was one of those times where all the overbooking. I don't really know how to explain how it worked, but somehow it worked.
Yeah.
And the show ended with Christian handed Sting his bat and left the ring, and they showed a spotlight on him, and everyone cheered him, and he looked like the man.
Yeah.
They did a great job of what they're trying to do and make him the guy in their promotion.
So it was all fine from that perspective. And Brent, you've been oddly quiet. I know you watched the main event. Your thoughts on the whole deal, Sting, everything like that?
Well, I read an interview with Sting where I think he said that he's coming back for the fans and as a favor to the Jarretts, and he's not like Hulk Hogan. So was he saying that he wants to come back and put over the younger stars of TNA and have programs with them and ultimately put them all over?
I would hope so. You can't. He cannot be beaten early.
Yeah, I was going to say, the key word there is ultimately.
Yeah, he should be pushed hard. I mean, if you don't push the guy hard at the beginning, who have you beaten at the end?
Yeah.
Nobody. So I'm fine with him being the top guy. I mean, if they're paying him $500,000 and they're going to do something with him, then if you're going to make him the top guy, go ahead and go all the way with him for 6-8 months, and then you can start putting guys over on the way out, and everything's fine and dandy. So, but yeah, that's that.
That was the show.
Any final thoughts there, young Vincent?
This is one of those times where I give my first impression, then we run down the show, I give my final impression, and I realize this show really wasn't that good.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, I had one match close to blow away was AJ and Tanahashi, and that got ruined, and everything else was just okay.
It's actually it is somewhat the same. It's usually with SmackDown where I go, that was a fun show, then I run it down and I realize, Jesus God, that was horrible. Yeah. So, Brent, any final words here for the fans of Figure 4 Online before we go tonight about anything in general?
I look forward to talking to you all next month or whenever Brian gives me a phone call at home.
That's right. You never know when it'll come.
That was very good, Brent. That was very good.
Very eloquent there to finish off the show, Brent. So we've seen all sides of you this evening, which is always good. I felt we needed a little good cocaine today here on this show for a number of reasons, not the least of which is the fact that on the board today, Crazy Wayne has revealed a bunch of stories from his life that his nephew, knew absolutely nothing about. And many of them involved, in fact, cocaine. Not to mention the fact that on Raw tonight, Vince McMahon revealed that he, I guess, is going to start taking cocaine, drugs, pills, and everything else because he's completely lost his mind. Vince met with Sean, and this was the promo. This was Vince going nuts again. I wrote 400 words about this 2-minute interview. Vince sat him down and said his luck was going to run out soon, and I should probably read this whole thing. Vince said
I don't know if you can summarize this.
Sean said, "Why are you doing this? Is it because I told you to move on?" And Vince said, if you want to move, if you don't want to move on, don't. Just do whatever makes you happy. And Vince said, well, you want to know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do that. I'm going to do what makes me happy. That means taking all of this money I've accumulated over the years and spending it on myself, having a good time. I'm going to turn the business back 10, 20, maybe 30 years, back to when I personally, Vince McMahon, epitomized the business with sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Think of bow-tied Vince in 1984 with the sex, drugs, and rock and roll if you want a good laugh.
Well, if he said 30 years ago, that'd be Vince in 1975.
Yes, yeah, all night. So he said the all-night parties, insanity, the whole 9 yards. He was starting it all over again tonight. You want to know what happened to the old Shawn Michaels, the, quote, pill-popping Shawn Michaels, and that was the peak of the insanity right there, to be perfectly honest.
Maybe of the past year.
And strangely enough, like, this promo, he wanted Shawn to join him. This was Satan tempting Christ in the desert.
That's a far more poetic way of putting it. I was going to say it was Vince looking for someone to get high with.
I stole it from the board, but it's perfectly. It is. Absolutely.
You steal from the best.
The only thing missing was Vince offering him all the kingdoms of the world, and Shawn should have told him, like, fuck off or something like that to, So anyway, Shawn basically did. He just said, no, never. And that made Vince mad. So Vince said his luck was going to run out at the Royal Rumble. He guaranteed it, and that was that. So, yeah.
Another meltdown on TV.
It was absolutely intriguing, like they all are.
I guess they are. It was Monday Night Raw as therapy.
It really is.
For the owner.
This is Vince's therapy, but it's not working, apparently.
It's backfiring.
I've been fucking watching this therapy for years now, and he gets worse.
It is.
So, clearly, for all of you that have been told, you've heard a friend say, I don't need therapy, I can deal with this myself, well, Vince McMahon proves that's bullshit. Go get some actual therapy with a professional if you need it. And
do not put yourself on TV.
That's right. We're going to blaze through this here. It is the Royal Rumble pool. I want all of you, all 60 of you that I know are listening, waiting for your number, to hold on here while I shuffle the pool. Pick a number, Vince.
10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here we go, everybody. The numbers are as follows. Number 1, and if I screw up any names here, I'm sure you all know who I'm talking about, so better have somebody with a pen and paper handy or a typewriter write these down so we can put them on the board immediately. But here are the pools. Pool number 1 for the Royal Rumble. Number 1, N. Hoger.
N. Hoger.
Number 2, Michael 99.
Michael 99.
Number 3, L.T. Kasonka.
L.T. Zonka.
Number 4, Gav Tone.
Gav Tone.
This will give everybody an idea of the names we've got on the board, by the way, some of the wackiness. Number 5, Sweet Daddy Patty.
Sweet Daddy Patty.
Number 6, NHB Luck 2.
Nubluck 2.
Number 7, Hardcore Hogan.
Hardcore Hogan.
Number 8, AtariCon.
Atari Icon.
Atar Icon.
Ataricon.
Sure. Number 9, our good buddy Odessa Steps.
Odessa Steps.
Number 10, Boink the Clown.
Boink the Clown.
Number 11, HTFCACC 2005.
Hatufcac 2005.
Number 12. That's how I see a lot of these names, Vin. So, number 12 is Macaman.
Macaman.
Number 13.
Why am I repeating these?
Is the legendary Nut Bunnies.
Nut
my
Bunnies.
Secret Santa, the lucky number 13. Number 14, Chris Bickley.
Chris Bickley.
Number 15, Alan 4L.
The legendary Alan 4L.
Legendary. Been here, I believe, since before day one, somehow. I can't ever remember a time before Alan 4L. You know what I mean?
I know.
He's just been there forever. Number 16, Michael Smith.
Michael Smith.
Number 17, James C.
Cornette?
Not James C.
Oh.
Not James E.C.
Sorry.
James C.
James C.
Number 18 is Bracy.
Bracy.
Number 19, Joe Gagney.
Joe Gagney.
Number 20, Acid Helm N-U-N, the producer of the Super Chico podcast program, which subscribers can get to download all the members' programs automatically.
Acid Helm none.
Number 21, Yamo version 1.
Yamo version 1.
That's a pretty damn good one there. Number 22, Tom A.
Tom A.
Number 23, T. Linehan.
Linehan.
Number 24, Monster Heel.
Monster Heel.
Number 25, the good doctor himself, Dr. Keith Lipinski.
Lipinski.
Number 26, a great, great man, the man responsible for all the wonderful banners you see at the top of the page. A fine human being, Estio Latino.
Estio Latino, arguably the best poster on the board.
Number 27, Altoona Muppet.
I love the Muppets. I just want to say that. Altoona Muppet.
Number 28, Holmey.
Homie.
Holmey. H-U-L-M-E-Y.
Oh, Holmey. I'm sorry.
That's right. Number 29, DJ C-Note, popular guest on the show.
DJ C-Note.
Clancy Gilpatrick.
Oh.
And the number 30 entrant into the 2006 Figure 4 Daily Royal Rumble Pool.
Number 1. Pool number 1.
Surremulous.
Ceremulous.
Sorry.
I don't know. You may be right.
Surrommelus. Funny thing is, when I'm reading the board, I glance at the letters. I don't even read it out in my head or anything like that. Which is why, and half of these I don't even know the people's real names. So, if you're ever wondering why I say somebody on the board, or so-and-so, or something of that nature, that's why.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Even your shit.
Most of the times I don't even look at who says anything.
You just read it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. You get just angry evenly across the board, or
pretty much actually, yes.
Or happy.
You get the board as a whole.
That's right. So we do have the best board ever. I decided to throw that out one more time. All right, the second pool. Are you ready? Pick a number. Don't pick a number like 100. It's fucking 12.
I don't want to do that. I will say 7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh, you made it. Congratulations.
Oh, here we go. The number 1 entrant into the second pool.
We should have entrance music for this.
IMM draws the infamous number 1 spot.
Good luck, IMM.
Actually, that may not be the worst spot.
It's happened twice.
There's been a lot of talk about so-and-so. Nobody's ever been the first to win the Royal Rumble and that sort of thing. So, IMM. Is that Shawn Michaels' number?
Not officially yet, but probably.
I thought it was officially.
He may have.
All right, well, IMM, you're number 1 there, buddy. Number 2, Roheblius.
Roheblius.
You are number 2.
Whatever the heck your name means.
Which is basically number 1, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Number 3 in the second pool, Darth Cansoups.
Darth Canoops or Cansoups or Cansupus.
Darth Cansoups, number 3. Number 4, J. Delkis.
Jadakiss?
J-D-E-L-K-E-S.
No, that's not
J. Delkis.
Jadelkis.
You're number 4. Number 5, P.C.N. Thomas.
Pickin' Thomas.
Number 6, Smarkflea.
Smarkflea, you can't screw that one up.
What the hell is a Smarkflea? I've been wondering this for a long time right now.
We should do an entire show.
Is this like a flea that thinks he's an insider but is actually just a geek?
Just on the names on the boards.
We do. We should. We're gonna have to do that. Everyone's
Let's go.
gonna
We'll sort them all by posts, so we get the most the most active people out there, and we'll question what their names mean.
That's right. Number 7, Repo Man. Are you actually named after the wrestler, the Repo Man?
Is this what's that dude's name? Well, anyway, that guy.
This poster here, I want him to do a thing on the board and explain why the hell this is his board name. What do you call it? His handle? Nick. Number 8, Mike Rowe.
I think that's just his name.
I just had to throw that in there.
Strongly suspect, but yeah, Mike Rowe.
Number 9, CD2KY.
Kadufky.
I wonder if that means like CD Warehouse number 2 in Kentucky.
That's a good guess.
Number 10, Paula Jacoby.
I'm sorry, what?
Paula Jacoby.
Paula Jacoby. All right.
Paul.
Paul Jacoby.
Sorry, Paul.
That's why I said what?
Vince tried to turn you, and I repeated it.
I thought you said Apollo.
Yeah, Apollo. Forgive Vince, he's retarded.
Fuck off.
And how many times has Paul Jacoby posted on the board and you don't even know if it's Paul or Apollo or Paula?
I don't look at the names. I just told you that.
Well, start! You knew IMM when I read his name. You jumped up in the air and laughed like a madman.
I did.
Dingbat. Number 11, MJ Styles.
MJ Styles.
Number 12, and I'm going to do it right this time. Frank Gaccianos.
Frank Gaccianos.
Remember the first time it was like Frank
Gaccianos.
Frank Gaccianos.
Greek Iowa wrestler.
That's right. Number 13, Exis Corlin.
Exis Corlin.
Exis Corlin. Number 14, the ever popular Stevie Cheesecake.
Hey, was that 14 or 15?
14 is Stevie Cheesecake.
Stevie Cheesecake.
13 is Exis Clorin.
Okay.
12 is Frank Gaccianos. I love that name now. I want to say it on every show. Number 15, Rado 84.
Rado 84.
Number 16, in all capital letters, Omega.
Omega.
I'm surprised somebody listening to this right now needs to sign up immediately and
be Alpha.
Yes, choose Alpha. We need all of them. We need a
Beta, Gamma,
Zappa. Number 17, Lyndon Walker.
Lyndon Walker.
Number 18, Fry 316.
Fry 316.
Number 19 chose this name just because he knew that someday I was going to have to say this on the air. Orgasmic Reaction. Number 19, The Drops.
Yes.
Say it, Vince.
Orgasmic Reaction.
You pussy. Number 20, Mr. Canada.
Mr. Canada.
Wow.
Canada.
I knew you were going to throw that in there. Cause
I just made that up.
Dork. Number 21, Ichiban.
Ichiban.
Number 22, Kenny H75.
Kenny H75.
I just noticed neither of us are in this pool.
I have no interest in this pool whatsoever.
That's nice.
None.
Number 23, we're going to have to have an extra pool with just me and you, where like I'm 1 through 15 and you're 16 through 30.
All right. Actually, the way you would do it would be I would be number 17 and you would be everything else.
Yeah, that's likely. Which I just have this feeling 17 is going to win now, just because you threw that name out there. The Universal Mind. What number am I on? 23, El Guapo.
El Guapo.
That's right. Number 24, Blue Fist.
Blue Fist.
Who made to this day the lewdest Photoshop in the history of Figure 4 Online.
And perhaps of the entire internet.
That's right. And Buddy Wayne cackled with glee and emailed to everybody he knew.
Yes.
Think about that. Number 25, Michael Coughlin.
Michael Coughlin.
Michael Coughlin, another frequent guest on The Daily Show. Number 26, Mookie Ghana.
Mookie Ghana.
I've said that name so many times on this show for some reason. It must have been the Secret Santa. I remember Mookie Ghana. Number 27, Jackson 5.
Jackson 5.
That's right.
All 5 brothers got together and bought a subscription.
Yeah, I'm actually looking to see. Do we? Oh, I guess.
Do you remember the Jackson 5?
Yes, I
Michael,
do. I was
Tito,
talking
Randy,
about
Jermaine.
something else, you jackass. Number 28, N. Frog.
That's another one where
Wait, N. Hoffelrog.
And Hoffelrog?
N-H-O-F-L-R-O-G-G-E.
That's another one that I'm sure is very funny to about 3 people in the world, and the rest of us just go, huh?
That's right.
And by the way, we do that a lot, so that's not a knock.
Sure, that's right. Number 29, the Shockmaster.
Shockmaster. Oh, that was great.
And number 30, this man knows who he is. He's cackling and rubbing his hands together, even though I think he probably knows there's no chance of number 30 actually winning. Biblical Fury.
How apropos. Biblical Fury.
Biblical Fury is number 30. So that, kids, is the 2 Royal Rumble pools.
Hello?
I love you, won't you tell me your name?
Hello?
I love you, let me jump in your game.
Hello?
I love you, won't you tell me your name?
Hello?
I love you, let me jump in your game.
Hello? 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 Hello?
This is, old WG we're calling. Hope she's not asleep.
Hello?
Granny,
Yeah?
you're on the air.
Oh, I'm just getting ready to go to bed.
Were you? Well, it is 12:05, so we'd actually, just so everybody knows, we'd cleared this with you first. We did not just call you out of the blue on Saturday night at 12:05 a.m., so.
I have a question. Who was the white-faced guy on the wrestling that quit tonight or something?
Sting.
Huh?
His name is Sting.
Oh, what happened to him?
Well, he's not actually really quitting. He's just going to go home for 2 months and he'll come back. But this will be his final year, most likely, so.
Oh.
He's like 47 years old, Granny. He's getting on in the years.
Well, I couldn't tell with all that white stuff on his face.
Yeah, that's part of the key that keeps you young.
No.
So, anyway, we're calling for the Dancing with the Stars update tonight.
Okay.
Were you watching all of wrestling while you were waiting for us to call, by the way?
Well, it was kind of in the background while I was playing with my computer.
I see, okay.
Anyway, Stacy, she's not in first anymore. They got picked third.
How can that be?
What do you mean, how can that be? There was two of them that were picked ahead of her.
Okay.
Anyway, but I wanted to tell everybody they could vote more than once.
Oh, really? You can cheat?
Yeah, no, they just allow you to because I called 5 times, and then after that it was busy.
Okay.
So 5 times is the most you can vote.
Well, no, she got a busy signal after the 5th try.
I see.
And also that Master T or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, they went on the chat line and they said that they had 400,000 people call for him, which I don't believe, but it was on there.
Wow. Did they say how many people called for Stacy?
No, they didn't.
Don't tell me Master T was one of the 2 that beat her out this week.
No, he's out now.
Oh, he got eliminated?
Yeah, he only got 8 points out of 30.
Oh.
That's not very good.
That sucks.
No, it's not.
How does the point system work?
Well, it's the judges. They have 3 judges, and they can have as high as 10 points each.
And he got 8 out of 30?
Yeah.
So help me out here, Vince. It'd be like 3.5 points per judge.
1 3, and a 2.
Holy God.
Yeah.
That sucks.
That's what would have happened. But you know, Stacy and her partner, they say a prayer before they come out.
Well, they obviously didn't say a very good one since 2 people beat them.
Yeah, but she's still good.
Yeah, she is. Who beat them?
There was Drew and Cheryl and Lisa and Louie.
All right. I cannot identify any of those people there, but I presume that I guess it doesn't matter. The fact is Stacy's in 3rd. That's all we need to know.
Well, and Vince will be happy to know that Hamilton's still in there.
Yay! That's good to know.
You know, he's somebody told me that he's just a gigolo and that he was living with Danielle Steele for quite a while.
Really?
Yeah, and he just goes from one woman to the next.
Good
well,
God.
I can't confirm or deny that, but...
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's the gossip on the show now. So how many teams are left there, Granny?
Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
6 teams, and she's in 3rd.
Yeah. And also, that Jerry Rice.
Yes.
He was taking ballet lessons.
Ballet lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Did they have any footage of him taking ballet lessons?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That must have been interesting.
Yeah.
So how many weeks are left? I guess that would mean, 5 weeks left on the show?
I think so, but if she gets tossed out, then...
What's the point in watching?
That's right. And besides the second night, I just got so upset that I just didn't even want to watch it because they'd say, well, we got 2 winners, so they'd say 2 winners, and then they have about a 10-minute commercial, and then they'd come back and say, well, we'll be back in a minute, and then they have another... And for a whole hour, it was almost all commercials. And
ridiculous.
It took that long for him to just pick those 6 or whatever.
Absurd. You need to make sure you got the computer on so you can play on the computer while you're waiting for the winner to be announced.
Well, they had intermission. They had the Pussycats, if you know who they are, a bunch of pretty-looking gals dancing. And next week, goody, Gary Manilow is going to be on.
Gary Manilow?
Yeah.
Is that...
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that exciting?
Sure. So, okay. What were you playing on the computer, by the way? Not to change the subject or anything.
Well, right now I'm playing Diamond Mine.
What exactly is that?
Well, there's a bunch of diamonds, and you put 3 together and get points that way. And
wow. You're quite the computer whiz.
well, not really.
What are you going to do when the show's not on anymore? What are you going to have to watch after that?
They have the skating one. I have never watched that one, though.
I see,
Not so far I haven't. But I had a real good day at garage selling today. I got lots of good stuff.
That's good. What'd you get?
Well, I got a birdhouse lamp.
Wow.
About 2 feet tall.
That's right.
And just a bunch of other goody little things.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you had a better day today than a few days ago. So that's good to know. But, yeah, well, that's very exciting, Granny. Any other big news before we go here today?
No, I thought I was going to have to say something about you, though.
Not necessarily.
No, I just wanted to say I'm proud of all your accomplishments, and I'm waiting for you to buy that big house so you can have a little apartment so I can come and live with you.
Well, luckily you're only 75 years old and likely to live to about 120, because probably no Chateau Chico anytime in the next couple months or anything like that. But you'll be happy to know that I am planning on building at least a small guest house so Vince can keep the grounds when you...
Oh, forget him.
Wow.
Unless you have an extra place for him besides me.
Well, yeah, there's going to be a little shack out back, and he'll be mowing the lawn and stuff like that and tending to things.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad you approve.
Granny approves of this plan, so now you can't back out, Vince.
I couldn't break her heart.
That's right. Well, Granny, it was a good show tonight. Thanks for joining us. You can get to bed now. What are your big plans for tomorrow?
Tomorrow I'm going to church in the morning, and then I'm going to a potluck at the senior center.
Wow, that's fun. Yeah. Is Joel Osteen on tomorrow to watch as well?
He's on Tuesday nights.
Oh, Tuesday nights. Okay. Yeah. I get yeah. I always forget when he's on.
Yeah, anyway, I don't want to be on here too long because I don't want all your people to say we're getting tired of Granny.
Oh. That will never happen.
God, Granny understands the psychology of this better than we do, so.
Okay, we'll talk to you next time.
All right, sounds good. We'll talk to you next week, Granny. Have a good night.
Okay.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Adios. We cannot have Granny on at the beginning of the show. It's impossible to follow that.
It is. We can't follow Master T and Gary Manilow.
Oh, God bless Granny. This is the highlight of the show, really. There really is nowhere to go from here.
Thanks for joining us, folks. We'll be back Tuesday night with a Raw Report. And
That's right. She scooped us on Sting, too.
Yes.
She understands oversaturation. She's way ahead of the curve here.
Really, she is.